do need to say, though, just over a week ago, Peter witnessed the helicopter crash which killed Leicester's owner as well as 2 members of staff, the pilot and a passenger, and you were very close.
Yes, Jeremy, I just come out the ground with my wife, Steph, who's in the audience today, and we just getting in the car and we saw the helicopter take off. But I don't really want to talk about the incident because we're just really trying to get over it at the moment.
Sure.
But certainly, I would pay tribute to the pilot, who's steering the helicopter, because at one point it looked as though it was coming straight for us, and there was Sky people behind us, vans and what have you, and it seemed to veer off and crash in the one place where it probably couldn't do any harm. So I think the pilot made that decision, and it's certainly a fantastic thing for him to do.
And we've seen really an outpouring of grief in the city, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, we went up, I think it was on Wednesday. We felt that we needed to go back fairly quickly and pay tribute as well, because obviously we'd met the chairman, Vichai, on many occasions, and he always made us feel very welcome. He had the atmosphere in the club was fantastic with him there, but the tributes outside the ground, it was overwhelming. It was just hard to take in, and they weren't just from Leicester fans, it was all over the world, and I think that says a lot, really. But you speak to everybody in Leicester itself, not just the football fans. They had a lot of respect for him because he did a lot for the community, put money into hospitals and other good charities and good things. And of course, the people within the club, the players, you just loved him. I mean, I remember going when they had won the Premier League, and it was towards the end, and you would expect, chairman get on. I've been in boardrooms when chairmans get really on edge and they're pacing up and down, and he was just like normal. The whole family.
Is that right?
They just came in and made us feel welcome, and it was just so the way they were.
That's an interesting insight, Ian, isn't it? Into Vichai, that he was almost enjoying that moment at the end of Leicester's great season.
Well, if you can't enjoy that, what can you enjoy? I think there was a unique relationship between Leicester players and the chairman, which you don't see at many clubs. And when you saw Kasper Schmeichel at Cardiff on Saturday, when they were all in the huddle paying their respects, I mean, he was in floods of tears, which... I mean, you tell me, Peter, but as a goalkeeper, in the minutes before a match, I mean, that must have been quite something for him to then have to, immediately when that was finished, get his mind right to then start playing a normal game.
Yeah, I think the players wanted to do really well because, they wanted to try and, play for the chairman. But when we went up on the Wednesday, we saw Kasper. He'd been at the ground every day since that. He'd got a bit of a disguise on because he got this hood on and he said him and I think it's Albrighton, they walked past each other and they didn't recognise each other because they'd got these disguises on, but they wanted to be there. And he obviously witnessed it. He said, I saw there was a problem, and he ran out, and he was closer than we were.
Trying to get there to help.
Yeah, he was actually trying to get into the helicopter, and he was pulled away. And I think he's deeply affected Kasper as well as all the other players. Definitely.
There was a bit of commentary at the weekend about just in the football game that Leicester happily won, and that the player who scored, I don't know if we can see this, got booked after he scored. So here we go. This is the goal. Beautifully taken.
Yeah.
Obviously means an awful lot because of what's happened.
Yeah.
You can see what he's right.
I think the referee could have maybe been a little bit more lenient on that occasion because it was obvious what he was doing.
But then the rules are the rules.
Well, the trouble is that if you're a Premier League referee and you don't obey the rules, then you get penalised and sent down a division or whatever. I mean, I don't think that would have happened here, but I do sympathise with referees in that situation because they're really implementing the rules.
Surely emotion can come into it at times.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, common sense
would they not be
I think
more
that's
lenient?
the word, common sense. Have a little bit of feeling for the occasion, and maybe just take it on the chin. The referee, I think it was a bit harsh, wasn't it? But
it's been amazing, Jamila, watching Leicester from a distance.
Well, I mean, from particularly their story, I find it so interesting and so inspiring, and and even just seeing how they've come together at this time, and as you said, not only the team themselves but the fans and everything, and the way that they've come together. And I think what would be important about this is that the legacy continues. You were speaking to me earlier about some of the amazing things that were put in place by the chairman, and for those types of things. I mean, tell us.
They've got some unbelievable. They've got some unbelievable projects. I mean, they've got a new training area which they've bought, and it's going to cost 100 million. It's going to have everything. I mean, they've got quite a big training facility now, but they really want to be the best, and they're going to extend the stadium, and thankfully, they're going to carry on these projects. And it's great for the club, obviously, but. I think it's something that Vichai would have wanted.
Yeah, you have 125 caps, as I mentioned, and most capped England player. Wayne Rooney's, I think, heading for 120. And there's a story about him being back in the England team for this friendly, and there's a bit of controversy about it. Explain why.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with it, to be fair. I've always been a Wayne Rooney fan in his playing days, and I think that, I feel that basically it's an international match. It's not a testimonial match. It's a game. All right, people say it's a friendly, but every game is important at international level. Because you're getting young players coming through. We've only got so many games before the Euro Championships in not this summer, next summer, and every game's important. And I think, pay tribute to Wayne. If it's 2 years since he was involved with England, it is because he's a charity, he's getting the money from the game. But pay tribute to him on the pitch, give him a presentation, even name the match after him. But I think to give him a cap and put, it's like it's devaluing the caps. And one thing
because you wouldn't normally get a cap for a friendly, is that right? Or
you get a cap for every game. Yeah.
So why is it devaluing?
Well, I just think, let's put it like this, I think we've done so well in the last 18 months, especially with the World Cup. Gareth Southgate's made some really good calls. He's got a young team coming together. The atmosphere in the World Cup was fantastic. We got to the semi-finals, and I read comments from Wayne saying he's going into the squad and give him the benefit of his experience, which to me, I think they probably don't need that because they got to the semi-final of the World Cup. So I think it's a little bit of a PR thing. Yeah. And I personally don't think that you should. It devalues.
Interesting.
Cap
yeah. What do you?
I really think that.